I think the ones of us that are awakened understand and have a better understanding because of, and I don't know, I can speak for myself as far as I have a better understanding on, I guess, the agenda of the ones that I dealt with anyhow, because I get, like, when I'm talking, I get floods of information that I would have had no other way of knowing other than by receiving.
Wow, can you hear me? He hasn't come back yet, so can you hear me?
I can hear you.
We can hear you, TJ.
Oh, okay. Y'all are really quiet. This is quite a different show. Well, Sean, I don't know if you can hear me. I tried to call you on one of my other phones. Lord knows I've got enough of them. But it says you don't have your voicemail set up, so I don't know if your phone ran out of juice or not because you had to plug it up to do the show. So, folks, I apologize. We can get Sean back. And he's talking to Tommy. So, Tommy, he may be wanting to co-host some with you on to help other people. And he told me he was, he's got a good open mind, and he's gone through a lot, and we've got a lot of people like that. And then some that haven't or don't remember bad things. I mean, I remember losing a baby, and by a man that came to say, I want to have a baby with you when I was a teenager. I just got married, and man was just walking on the moon, and I got pregnant while I had a daughter on April 3rd, and she went full 9 months. So you count back from April 3rd, 1970, and that's my Lauren Michelle Parrish daughter. And the one that just died was Ginger Teresa Faye Parrish, and their daddy worked at NASA. And I had her by strange means, but I know that women don't like to admit that they could be used for genetic reasons, and why would they want to come and try different ways? Because I had a talk with Stephen Bassett once with all the intelligence that he was collecting back. God, when was that? Years and years ago, Sean Bassett. But it had to be after 2007, 2008. Because, Tommy, when were you and I talking with Knoxville? That's how long ago that I talked to Stephen Bassett.
Oh, I don't even know. That was a while ago.
That was years ago. But I wasn't in the business of being out until I got hurt. And I got hurt 2003 and 2004. And that's when I've had a GoDaddy account in the internet business since then, August 2004. So this is 19. So it'll be 4 from 19, 15 years that I've been public. Wow, isn't that long? 2004. This is 2019. Yeah,
you're right.
I know. It is 2019, folks. You'll learn people like me, bilocators, have had several lives and come back and died and come back. Then I have past lives. And it sounds funny because I'm like, Sean. You don't have to tell lies. Your life's crazy enough without it. Okay, to have done as many things as I've done. But I've done a lot of things. Well, Kimberly, I'm glad you showed up. I put your name up with Sean, folks. I apologize. We'll have Sean back, but he called me and said he wasn't gonna be able to make it tonight about 3:30. Then he was happy and excited to come on. So he said they weren't going to keep him from coming on because he felt like, people don't want him to tell his story. So he's out there telling his story wherever he can, and let's hope that he joins our association. And it's free to join, folks. Always has been, but we do have people that if they want to be members and help as volunteers, we surely are set up for donations and by volunteers only. And so if you want to help us, we're 7 years into this, and we're starting all over again as of today. This is the official day, so I'm glad Ken showed up. Ken, you're going to be our fleet commander for all these kind of stories, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. But the Allied Command, folks, and Ken, the original Allied Command that I learned about, Allied Command, was in space. And then they answered to the Supreme Allied Command, okay? So I knew about the 7 levels, the 7 universes, dimensions, and the 10 to some, 12 to others. And I've had all kind of arguments with people or debates. As Tommy took it in high school. You can't beat Tommy Hawksblood. He's an excellent debater. I didn't have it. I'm passive. So, but we all have a story to tell. And Kimberly, I know you're helping with a group. Tell us a little bit about your group and why you started it. It's a Facebook social media group, right?
Yeah, it's on Facebook. It started out because I was joining groups, like different UFO groups, trying to tell my story. And at first I was real shy about it. And then when I did start opening up about it and talking about it, I was really ridiculed severely. I mean, call out all kinds of names. My daughter was, was being made fun of, and I just went like off the chain because, there's no reason for anybody to act like this, especially if you're out there trying to tell your story and letting people know that this is going on and to help others through their problems. Well, I told the group that I was leaving the group, and as soon as I left the group, I got all kinds of my phone got blown up because the people that was in that group at that time, they were notifying me about things, and that's how my daughter and my son-in-law actually told me that I need to open a group, and I named it Not So Paranormal because everything falls under that label of being paranormal, which we know is not true. It's more normal than not.
Yeah, this tonight's under paranormal on Blog Talk because I don't know where to put us. So, yeah, that's the category, paranormal, but it says visibility public, and Sean is out telling his story, and Kimberly. But the reason I was sort of shocked about you, Kimberly, was when I asked you last night, you were just a bubble on my phone. My daughter, I couldn't even hang fun of folks. I've got these iPhones, but I'm completely computer nerd. I mean, I've always used a huge computer. And I was trained in the government, and we had Sun Systems. I started on a K-Pro, taking it to train Navy people how to use a computer before I was sent to Hawaii. So I had to use my own, laptop, which back then was a big metal case you took everywhere with you. So I'm on a little laptop now running this board, but fortunately everything's like up in the cloud, and I'm pushing buttons and trying to catch everybody, but I had two boards on one. And there's things that happen in cyberspace I can't explain. But one of the things is I thought Kimberly was on Facebook because her little face popped up. So I said, what's that? I saw, but Kimberly, whatever happened, you popped up first. So didn't I send, I think I sent you just a little. Sometimes if somebody pops up on my phone, I'll send them a little something. But
yeah, you sent me a friend request. You sent me a friend request, but you said that you didn't. So, like I said, we had similar interests. So that, like I said, that's the only reason that I accept anybody as for friendships, because I don't have time to do everything. I can't stay on the phone like that. I'm working strictly from my cell phone. Another thing I wanted to find out.
Strange. I was asking you if you were a writer. I thought you were coming to me as a writer. So do you remember me saying, "Oh, are you a writer?" We were typing. Remember before we talked. So
yeah, that's because I do inspirational writing.
Yeah, and I don't use the phone, folks. The cell phone, I don't even know how to frigging use it good because I'm never on it. I hate to talk on the phone. My grandmother was an operator, and she called me all the time when I was a little girl, and these cell phones drive me nuts. I got bunches of them, give them to my kids, my grandkids. But to be honest with you, and Tommy will tell you, but now, Ken, I get him mad on Skype, so he's been teaching me how to use that for the last 4 or 5 years. Still hard to me because they change it all the time. Ken is the only one I'm trying to help him get computer literate.
I'm computer illiterate.
Giving him the phone number.
I'm computer illiterate totally. What I know, I've learned by trial and error.
Yeah, TJ, you've got your work cut out for you trying to get me up to speed. I'm the old days, even back during the Apollo days, we didn't have cell phones and abilities to communicate with everybody around the world. It had to go through these big computer rooms. We had enough cold water, ice cold water, running through the systems to keep everything cool because it was pulling all of the energy and power. It was amazing how far we have progressed in just using the computer system. Like I'm dealing right now with just a little small, one of these. What do you call these stupid things? My wife's an IT. She's brilliant, and me, I'll fly your flying saucers for you, but then I'm not the one that's going to be your communicator. That's what I'm hooked up with today. TJ's the communicator. Hopefully you
I'm not sure what we're all doing here. I feel like we're all here for a reason, so I'm going to let, we've got 35 minutes left, folks, so we're going to do a quick round table because these guys bothered to show up to make sure I didn't have to talk to myself tonight. So we're going to just pass this around between Kimberly. I want you to get to know just, I wish Sean was here, folks, but we'll get him back. But I think he's just having cell phone issues because he fell off, and I think he ran out of juice, to be honest. Because remember how he had a little problem? We couldn't hear him there for a minute. But I want Kimberly. I want you to hear Tommy's voice and Ken's and Ahmad. So why don't let me see if to start with Ken, since I know he's on here. The other two are muted, but they'll take turns asking you a question. Or I think Ahmad asked you one about the robot. But Ken, you have anything to get Kimberly involved with us, or something we could all work on a support team, or any advice? Because we're starting today. This is August 1st. Go ahead.
I don't
Ken.
know. I don't know that, Kimberly, I don't know that it would be advice, but I'll tell you that some of the things that you said a while ago rang some bells, and that has to do with people that have been used to, I don't know, you said it best, where you've been, well, here I am stammering and stuttering like I don't even know how to talk.
Spit it out.
To create an offspring of both extraterrestrial as well as Homo sapien earthlings. And there's been a lot of experience. If you, one of the other things that I'm interested in finding out is that, my father, my dad, was Captain A.R. Johnston back in World War II, back in 1942, as a matter of fact. Supposedly, and I'm using the word supposedly, he and a crew crashed and died, although there were no bodies and anything else like that. And so here, just 2.5 months after I was born, he's no longer there, although I've had communications and contact with him throughout my life and keeping me out of trouble, even when I was learning to fly in the Marine Corps as a pilot. So things like that, very interesting to find out how we as humans have been used, is a term to use, or had the privilege of direct contact with extraterrestrials and things. So I'm anxious to hear more about the experiences you've had over the years, and then I still have a lot more to share that even TJ doesn't know about. But we'll get there. Okay. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, that sounds. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think what you said was the opportunity or the privilege. I think both of them is perfectly good to use, actually, because not everybody's chosen. And I use the word chosen because that's exactly what we are. We're chosen by them. We don't choose them to communicate with. And so many of the ones that I've researched, the people that have had contact end up with, just like I said, and just like with what you're experiencing as well, is the sixth sense is more open. You're able to communicate with the other side, which maybe wasn't available before. But you become more in tune. You become more awakened.
Right. One of the biggest problems we run into, though, is the debunkers. And because of my position with NASA during the whole Apollo program, and even after that for a while, as TJ knows, they've gone after me and tried to shut me down. And I was almost put in a situation where I would have been killed while I was over in India. And we got that one cleared up. The biggest thing in my advantage is that I was able to keep track of records and documents and proof and everything. So whenever the particular individual that goes after me trying to debunk or shut me down, all I have to do is just pull up and post documents of proof that the government had, and that I dealt directly with the government. So we are not